Hi, my name is Garrett Thompson. Welcome to my podcast. As we all know, it is summer and it's still the playoffs, so I will be doing my Monday to Friday hockey highlights until the end of the playoffs, and I'll probably be doing a once a week video, most likely, just depending. I forgot to mention this in my last video, podcast video, which is why I'm saying it now. But until the end of the playoffs, it's going to be a Monday to Friday thing. So we're going to get right into it. There's a lot of hockey, and I want to get to a lot of different stuff. We're going to go through some minor things before I get to the major point, which is of course Carolina and New York. But we're going to look at the Western Conference briefly here. The minor point of the Western is this Dallas-St. Louis series. Now, of course, obviously this is a big series. It is the semifinals. It's a big deal. Both teams have never really been in this position before. Not necessarily saying that they haven't been to the semifinals, the Western semis before, but it's been a whole different year for both teams. Both teams were in different spots, and then they really just came into their own, especially St. Louis with bringing up Jordan Binnington, and Jordan Binnington being like, I give you the power of the playoffs and good teams, and we'll make them, but all that kind of stuff. But anyways, St. Louis and Dallas, they are tied 2-2 in their series. Game 6 goes tonight, actually, along with New York and Carolina, but of course I will be getting to that. Sorry, no, not Game 6. Game 5 will be going tonight. Now, as we all know, Game 5 for Columbus and Boston's tomorrow night. But Game 5 for a series is big because Game 5, I think, really, in some cases, depending on the series, really decides, okay, what team is going to bring it in Game 6. And not necessarily the team that loses Game 5 will bring it in Game 6. Honestly, if a team wins it in Game 5 and they really just look at themselves and we can win it in Game 6, they bring it in Game 6 and they have back-to-back great games and they win it in 6 games, right? So this is going to be a big game for the series. I think if Dallas wins Game 5, they have a really good chance of winning Game 6. I think St. Louis would be a bit shot. I think that the confidence would dwindle a little bit, but other than that, I honestly think Dallas could do it if they win tonight. St. Louis, if they did it tonight, I think they could obviously, of course, win Game 6 and move on. But I think of any team in that series who could win in Game 6 to force it to a Game 7, I think it would be Dallas, strictly because I think that they just have. I don't know how I would describe Dallas as a team. Obviously, I don't watch them a lot. I watch the highlights, of course, and I watch the news stories. I just watch how they're talked about. Of course, I'm watching all the highlights because I gotta watch the highlights so I understand. I know how to talk in these. I know how to talk in these videos, so I know how to describe things from my point of view. That's why I do this, so I can talk about things in my point of view. It's a great way to get hockey stress out so I don't have to bore my friends and my family with it. So I just put it onto a camera and give it to you people, and if you feel like watching it, you watch it. But anyways, back to the game. But yeah, watching this team, I think that I don't know. I think it's a bit of a flash. They have a bit of a flash that St. Louis doesn't have. They have a bit of a low key swagger to them. St. Louis is very blue collar. St. Louis has as good a chance as Dallas to win the series, of course, but Dallas just has that low key swagger, I think, that really gives them that little bit of extra push than St. Louis does. Honestly, I think Dallas's building was louder. Their barn was bumping in Game 4 and Game 3, both of them, even though they lost Game 3, bumping. But so I think that series will be great. That series goes tonight, as I said. Another series, Columbus and Boston. Columbus in Game 3 pulls out to a 2-1 lead. Boston tied it up again. But honestly, looking at just how the games have gone, Boston really gave it to them in Game 4 and showed them, look, we're not going anywhere. I think Columbus can really like shut them down. I really think Columbus can shut the door if they really like look at themselves and like, look, we can do this. I think they'll win it in 6 for sure. Honestly, like I really think they'll really give it to them. Time will tell, of course. Like honestly, I could be so wrong, and Boston goes on to the Eastern Conference Final, but we're not going to talk about that because that's a swear word in my house. Boston, that's a bad word. Yeah, I heard my dad say "Go Bruins" the other day, and I was very close to telling him to get out of my house, but. I digress. We're going to move on. Anyways, we will be so that series is going to Game 5, Game 5 in Boston tomorrow night. I'm probably going to watch that game. Honestly, if I have time, I'd watch that game for sure. That's another Game 5 that really can decide the series, as I talked about with Dallas and St. Louis. I think that's going to be a big game. I really think that'll decide the series for sure. San Jose and the Avalanche, Nathan MacKinnon is an absolute beast. And I was watching TSN today. I was watching Overdrive, which is another podcast, and really big. Obviously, I would want mine to be at their level one day. But anyways, they made a good point. I was just watching it. They made a good point. They were talking about. What was I gonna say? Nathan MacKinnon and like the top 50 players. Like they're like news have been coming down about the top 50 players in the NHL, and is Nathan MacKinnon there? Absolutely, top 10 easily, top 5, no problem there either. He's deadly. You watch the game where he scored in overtime. You watch the look and just the general body movement of the players on the Flames. They were terrified of him. He's scary. He's so fast. His shot is ridiculous. He's been relentless all series. That goal that they scored in game 3 or 4, even though they lost the game, that turned it around because it was that San Jose was up 2-0 on the that penalty kill that they did. They finished they beat out the penalty. They dumped they cleared. I can't speak today. I don't know why. We'll just say they beat out the penalty. They cleared the puck. They survived it. And the turnaround, Nathan MacKinnon picks the puck up, skates in, and goes far post and in. But you just watch. You can go watch the highlights, San Jose Avalanche. He picks the puck up. He's turning around and gone. He hits the top of the circle before you can blink. Like puck spins, goes in, shoots, scores. Like it's terrifying. Joe Pavelski isn't back yet. That's a big asset San Jose is missing. Of course, he's injured, and as I said earlier on about the whole Vegas San Jose thing, I hope he's okay. Obviously, like you don't ever want to see a player go down like that. But yeah, so I really hope he comes back. He's a really big asset to them, and I think that if he came back by the end of this series, if he comes back in this series, that's going to be a big turning point, just depending on where San Jose is. But anyways, yeah. But Nathan MacKinnon, easily top 5. I think he's easily one of the best players in the world, just strictly based on he's like if Connor McDavid and Sidney Crosby were one player, because he's big like Crosby. Because nobody realizes this. Crosby's a big guy. He's huge. His legs are like the base of a tree. Like he's a big dude. Right? Nathan MacKinnon's a big guy. McDavid is, of course, a big guy, but he doesn't have as solid a frame as MacKinnon or Crosby, right? But MacKinnon's both. MacKinnon's got the speed of McDavid and like the hands of McDavid, but he's also got the structure and the general the balance of Crosby's. Crosby's balance is out of this world, and that's why he's seen as the best player in the world. I would rather have a team of Crosby's than a team of Ovechkin's myself, because yes, Ovechkin's got an absolutely blistering shot and goes and will beat goalies any day of the week. That guy's back checking's not good. He can't skate for his life. You watch a video of Ovechkin skating, and it is the weirdest thing you will ever see. Like, it's weird. He's got a weird setup for skating. Obviously, that doesn't matter because he's a Stanley Cup champion, and he throws the body and shoots the puck like nobody's business. He doesn't back check very well. I think he's gotten better, of course, but yeah, like, I'd rather have a team of Crosby's for sure any day of the week, a team of McDavid's, or a team, like, you know what I mean. But yeah, anyways, yeah, so, like, McDavid's just been absolutely McKinnon has been absolutely disgusting this series. I think in Game 5, I honestly think that McKinnon, if he's on his game like he has been, he's going to be a big, big difference maker in what wins, if Avalanche win that game, for sure, and if they are able to win the series as well. Going on to my last main point before filling in the rest of the video, just depending on how much time we have left. I'm talking about Carolina and New York. Now, here's the thing. Carolina, everybody's like, oh, they're bringing the brooms out. Carolina could sweep. Anything can happen. New York right now, though, is terrified. New York Islanders fans are probably scared beyond belief because you took out your brooms and swept out the Penguins, but Carolina is threatening you with brooms themselves, right? So the big thing right now for Barry Trotz and the New York Islanders is who do you start tonight? Now, there's been a lot of thing, and I'm sure but even by now when I'm making this video at 6:11 at night or in the evening on a Friday, it's probably already out who's starting. I haven't seen it yet because I'm not really gonna focus on the screen when when I'm recording the video. Of course, I'm gonna check it right after. But honestly, like, I've heard numerous different stories of, like, keep Leonard in or start Greiss. Greiss is an amazing goalie. Like, their tandem all year has been great. They won one of the most, in my opinion, one of the more, in a way, unnecessary trophies, like the best overall goalie tandem. Like, I mean, you're stretching it, but, like, I get where they're going with the award, but come on, like, I don't know if that's really worth that, like, an actual, like, a proper award than something else, like, for example, it's like the tandem of Vezina. It's like the Vezina for tandem of goalies. Like, just keep it the Vezina, and you don't need to have tandems. But anyways, they won it, so they've had a great tandem all year. Both Greiss and Leonard have played really well, and, like, which is why, like, they're so, like, they're thinking about it so much more than normally one would, because you've got two goalies who are in the starting mindset, right? So you have both guys who are just as comfortable starting as the other one is, right? It's not like you have a clear starter, clear backup like the Leafs did, for example, right? You would not see the Leafs having the best tandem in the league at all. Like, you can go back into the videos, watch the first one or the second one where I go off about Sparks because he just can't stop a puck worth his life. But I can't get into the Leafs. They're out now. I don't have to scream about them. I'll be screaming about them because there's contracts coming up, and that's going to be a whole thing. But anyways, back to this. I think that you could keep Leonard in. Some of those, like that one goal where he launched it up the boards, that's lucky. They knocked it down. He did it so that he could throw the guy off and launch it up, right? So he could get it around, but it was lucky bounce, and it was the whole thing. Honestly, he should have passed it around, but it's a bit of a 50-50 on blaming him. Or you can start Greiss, who's a great goalie. He's played well against Carolina, and he's reliable. But the thing is, though, no matter who you start in Game 4, you're in Raleigh. You're against a team who has all kinds of momentum behind them, especially being at home. You have a team where, like, literally they are ignoring the doubters, but they're ignoring the doubters, and they know they have the power and they know they have the momentum behind them, but at the same time they're just like, look, boys, just go out there, start on time, have a good first 40, and then the last 20, just defend it. Just defend it and keep pushing, but have a good start. Start on time. Teams, I know a team that didn't do that, but for this team, just start on time. Just do it. They can do it. That's the thing. That's why New York's been thinking so much about this, and that's why, like, in some ways, I don't know why they would, because they're so like, they're just like they're in a spot. They're so vulnerable right now, and I don't think a goaltending change is really gonna do much at this point. It's the whole mindset of the entire team. Of course, you can't switch out the entire team and switch who's starting in that same sense as you would with a goalie, but like they really got to stop worrying about who's starting in net. It's about the whole team themselves, because Leonard's been on the team, was starting in goal every time when they swept the Penguins. He was in every single game. It's not necessarily him, it's the whole team, but you can't pull the whole team, so you got to switch the goaltenders around and see if that'll change something. Necessarily, I don't think it would make a difference. But on it, like, if you were to switch, Greiss is not, of course, the worst guy to have the option of switching to. But at the end of the day, I think if New York doesn't at least get a goal in the first period and Carolina starts the way they say they'll start, New York's done. New York's done, or they will be close. Like, I'm not going to say like, oh, they're out, but like, I think New York will have a very slim chance, strictly because of just because Carolina's got it. Carolina's got the grit. They've got the speed. They've got the want. They've got the fuel that they need. So I honestly think that if I get an update in 3 or 4 hours that says Carolina moves on to the Eastern Conference Final, I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised. I might be catching some highlights on it because it is on CBC, so I will probably tune into it while I edit this. But yeah, like it's going to be a good game, and I honestly think if I watch that game and I see Carolina started on time, I'm like, okay, New York, if they don't do anything within the next 20-25 minutes, like first period into the second, there's not going to be much left in the tank. Just to fill in a little bit here, just going to bring up some random things. We're going to talk about the Leafs briefly. Austin Matthews just got surgery this week. He's going to be okay for training. Now, I have an interesting thing. I want to I want to talk to people more, like subscribers and like people. I want to get if you have any, I want to do like a question thing. I want to do questions, not questions, but like I want to do like topics, like subscriber topics, we'll call it, where I bumped my mic. Subscriber topics where you guys give me a topic to talk about, like hockey related, and I can bring it up. Like you can talk, like literally bring up anything, or yeah, exactly. Like just bring up a topic and I'll try and answer it, or something like that. I don't know if you have any suggestions. Let me know. I'm open to it, obviously, because it's an idea right now, and I'm open to hearing the criticism of the idea. Or if you have like another idea based off of this that we could do it whenever throughout like a video or whatever. You know what I mean? So, yeah. How about we think on that? And yeah, so like we'll think about it. We'll think about it, see if that's the right idea. If like subscriber topics, and we can have everybody come in from from Instagram. If you're just following the Instagram and haven't really caught a lot of the videos, or like if you're following the Instagram but aren't subscribed to here but still watch the videos, put a comment on one of the photos or message me or comment on the video, right? And we'll figure it out. But I think that'll wrap it up. Thank you guys very much. Click a like if you liked it. Click subscribe, and I will see you guys on Monday. Thank you very much.